Well, everybody, welcome back to Bloodline Banter. I'm Landon.
And I'm Riley.
And today we have the one and only reality television star, icon, queen of TV, Abby Lee Miller with us.
Hello.
Abby, how are you doing? Take us through a day in the life of Abby Lee Miller right now. I mean,
That's funny you should mention that. I have a whole new series on YouTube coming out called A Day in the Life. And it's everything from me going to the dentist with a broken tooth, which is probably 5 hours of agonizing, horrific pain.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
I don't know they're going to make a YouTube video of it because it was so bad. And then I'm swimming with the dolphins, and I'm holding a sloth, and I'm doing all these crazy feeding giraffes and like crazy nonsense. Then going to the dentist, then going to I'm hosting a TMZ tour bus through LA, like crazy nonsense.
It sounds like you need another reality television show.
My whole life is a reality television show. People just need to follow me around day to day, and you'll see it's crazy.
I think I would pay to see that. I think it'd be worth it.
When we were shooting the show, in Pittsburgh, as soon as they would wrap and the cameras would fall out, something would happen. I'd lock the dog in the car, or like just craziness would happen. And they're like, "Oh, if we had a camera," I'm like, "You did. You had
and
7
you took it off too early."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Abby, I'm going to start off with asking you a question,
Landon,
and I have to know this. Whenever there was a certain episode on Dance Moms, and the mom came up behind you and told you to put your phone away, and you backed that wheelchair straight up out of that theater, and you turned that wheelchair into a Bugatti and booked it down the side of the street. How fast do you think that wheelchair goes?
It goes about 8 miles an hour.
Okay.
I mean, those producers, she was like, she is zooming. You were zooming.
Yeah, it seems not that fast when you say the number, but when you're going and someone's trying to walk beside you or run beside you, it's fast. Right. It's really fast.
It was fast. What do you think the most petty thing that the producers ever did? Because I know you say, like, what we see is heavily produced on TV. What do you think the most petty situation was that they ever did?
Petty.
Or antagonizing, or just,
So I have to know, Abby, was it is the TV show, was it 100% authentic drama, or did they antagonize it for viewers and things like that?
Oh, of course. They set the wheels in motion. Right. You know what I mean? And for every 20 things they tried, maybe 5 hit and exploded.
Right.
They tried everything from soup to nuts all day long with every different person. And some stuff would just land and work and people would go at it. And other stuff, people would just like roll their eyes at them and say, "What? I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that." And other people were more gullible than others. And then my whole life for all those years was just trying to make some ridiculous, non-theatrical, boring, weird, strange, in a bad way, idea get on stage for 2.5 minutes and look like a dance routine.
Well, you did a phenomenal job at it, because I'm telling you, I mean, you're good at what you do, despite the popular opinion. That's another question I was going to ask you. Like, the producers and the TV show, I think, sometimes made you out to be some big evil monster, and that's just like, it's TV. It's literally TV. And I was going to ask you another question.
I had to be this big evil monster because it was my name, and I had to get a dance routine out on that stage.
Right.
And you are dealing with children.
I know the kids get upset when I say things like this, but they know deep down in their hearts, those kids know damn well they weren't the best dancers in my studio. And they certainly weren't the best dancers in the United States. They were kids that got really lucky. And, their moms, that's what the biggest misconception, the kids did not audition for the show, the original cast. They sat in a chair, like
And sit pretty and smiled. And wasn't it like going to be like a housewife show?
Yes. And so it was, the 80%, the kids were 10%, and the dance studio was 10%, and I was not on the show. I really had nothing to do with it. They were just using my studio.
And then you got that phone
key
call.
into that word, using.
Yeah. And then you got that phone call from Mr. Broadway.
Today's sponsor, Cowboy Colostrum, offers the highest quality bovine colostrum. And for those of you who didn't grow up in the middle of nowhere like us, that's a cow. Available in the U.S. Cowboy Colostrum is 100% made in America from 100% grass-fed American cows. Unlike other colostrum brands, Cowboy Colostrum is the true first-day whole colostrum rich in bioactives like immunoglobulins and growth factors. It helps with bloating, and Lord knows I need that, hair and nail growth, and not to mention, it freaking tastes good. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off their entire order. Just head to cowboycolostrum.com/banter and use code banter at checkout. That's 25% off when you use code banter at cowboycolostrum.com/banter.
And y'all, it really is good. Y'all see me put it in my TikToks all the time. I make my coffee with it every morning, and it actually tastes so good that I walk by sometimes and stick my finger in it and eat it like a fun dip.
Go check out Cowboy Colostrum. Use code banter at checkout for 25% off.
You weren't originally like going to be on the show, and then you got that phone call from Mr. Broadway. Is that his name? Wasn't that his name?
The police officer. No, I didn't get a phone call from him.
You called him. Yeah, you called him.
I called the police, and the dispatcher answered and said, "Officer Broadway, what's your emergency?" And I was like, "What is happening?" And every camera was on me, and Satan was in the corner, and it was like the heavens parted and the angels were singing. And he said, "What's your emergency?" And I said, "There's this psycho witch. She's running around the studio. She's scaring the children. She's chasing me. I want her out. It's my building. It's my property. Come get her. Take her away." And he said, "Does she have any weapons?" And I said, "Just her mouth." So when that got back to the network, they were like, nobody can write this in Hollywood.
Oh, they couldn't. And they still can't.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can hold a candlestick to what you did on that show. Zero.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Did you have sisters that danced? Or?
I did not. I was just a fan of the show. My sister watched the show.
Okay.
And then I was always acting like I didn't like it. And then, watching you on there.
Oh,
and we grew up in the South, in the middle of nowhere. So some of the stuff you said, we've heard, 10 times worse. So I'm like, some of these TikTok comments and some of these comments you get, I'm like, you've not heard anything.
Well,
I know.
I've found that, a lot of these moms would get their feelings hurt whenever you would have a spit spat with the kid. And I feel like growing up in the South, not only have we heard so much worse, but I mean, a harsh coach makes a good athlete. And if you just have a coach that goes along to get along, I mean, you're not going to have a successful kid, in my opinion.
Well, I think had I been a man and we'd been out on a field, no one would have blinked an eye.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You're exactly right. Going back to like the producing of the TV show and stuff, do you think that the show, no, I don't want to say hurt your reputation, but like industry peers, other dance coaches and like other people in the entertainment industry, do you think you're respected? Like, are you respected behind the scenes?
Well, that goes several different ways. So people in the area, in the Pittsburgh area, people that were members of organizations that I belong to, because in the United States, dance teachers don't need a license to teach dance. Nothing. You don't need anything to touch a child's body from age 2 to 18. Nothing. It's scary. And so I was involved in all these organizations and certified by Test to Teach and, demonstrative and everything. Anyway, those people were up in arms because I was representing dance teachers in this horrible, awful way, and it's not like this. In the meantime, I could rattle off you 20 names of teachers that were much tougher than I was. However, I think people on the flip side in the industry were looking at it like she's taking this bunch of kids who aren't really proteges, and she's putting a product out there week after week after week of numbers that, professionals in Los Angeles or New York aren't even doing, like coming up with that fast. So, these were little kids. They went to school all day. That was the biggest issue with me. If I could do things over again, so many things I would change. But one would be that the kids were homeschooled, and they were, we shot the show from like 10 in the morning until 4. And then all the cameras were wrapped. They were out of my studio. I guarantee you, had that happened, I would still have 400 kids in my studio in Pittsburgh right now. It would still be open.
Yeah, what you did was insane. And, I look back and I watch like all the interviews of the kids and the moms currently. And hell, I've seen 4,000 TikToks telling Abby Lee Miller just to let dance moms go, let it go, let it go. And meanwhile, you've got every mom over here still capitalizing on the show. And I'm like, well, why aren't we, talking about that?
Yeah, they're going through the years of their costumes, for Christ's sake. I'm like, what? Like, that's your videos? Come on.
I feel like a big part of the show was, of course the kids may have wanted to be there, but I feel like the moms used their kids as a prop so the moms could be on television. How exhausting was it to put up with the moms every day?
It wasn't so much about being on TV. I think that was fascinating and interesting. My world was Broadway. I was getting kids, they were dancing at Disney, Tokyo Disney, on every cruise ship, in New York City, on Broadway, at Radio City Music Hall. That was my goal. That's what I did for years and years and years. I was pumping out more professional dancers than some of the universities and colleges in Pittsburgh. So that well-known ones. So that aside, I think that the television thing, that was fun and fascinating, but the moms using the money that the kids made to build their new homes, right. Pimping them out. Some of the kids traveled with me. So as soon as we had a break, bam, we were off for 3 weeks. I was going to Australia. Who's coming with me? Maddie was with me. Mackenzie was with me. Kendall was with me. Later on, Kalani was with me. Nia was with me in the beginning, until, Melissa didn't want her to come anymore. And then, so those kids were coming with me, and I was splitting everything 50-50 with the moms. So whatever we took in, I got 50%, they got 50%, and they split it up amongst the kids, whatever they wanted to do. But there were other mothers that were just literally pimping that kid out weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend. And, lying about it, teaching the child to lie to me about where they were, why weren't they in class last night, things like that. That's where it got to be really ugly. And I thought, this is rough.
Yeah. Obviously you've got so many famous one-liners. Like, I thought I had some funny one-liners. Like, I would rather shit my hands and play patty cake, but Abby Lee Miller, you say some of the outlandish, funniest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And I want to ask you, what's your favorite, if you can remember, what's one of your favorite lines that you said on the TV show?
Well, I think that the line is just everyone's replaceable. Not that it's funny. It's just, sometimes it's funny when it comes up in random conversations. You're out at a bar or a nightclub or whatever, it's funny, but it's just a reality that I think every child should learn. There's always somebody out there better. There's somebody working harder. There's somebody with more connections,
And
Abby, your best friend.
You get a lot of heat, but like on the show, even the heavily produced show, I don't think you ever told one lie. When you said something, the truth. It's just the truth. Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, but you told the truth. So,
well, I was trying to teach kids to dance and to perform and to act and to this and to that. And, I see articles now and they're doing this and they're performing and da-da-da. And I think you'd be sitting in Pittsburgh on the couch. Like, do you not really realize
that? A lot of the kids and their moms, I feel like they say they're thankful, or they say that, like, they're glad that the show.
They do. They do.
In a
I've
very
never heard that
backhanded, disgusting way. But like, I don't think not one of them are. Maybe JoJo is like the only one I would say that is like actually thankful for what you done for them and the show. So
I also feel like, they can say a lot of things about you. They can say you were too harsh. They can, whatever their opinion may be. But one reality that they will never be able to escape is that you made them who they were.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you see that.
Everybody does. They just
don't want to admit it.
No, they don't. Take us through. Do you still talk to any of the kids other than like JoJo and maybe a couple other ones, or do they?
No. Well, you don't watch my podcast. Okay, so JoJo has been on. Eliana and her mom. Bryn and her mom. Kalani, Kira. I'm trying to think who else. There's been so many of the kids on. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's good. Speaking of Kalani, she's opening a dance studio. I had just seen that. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's a lot of really good studios in Arizona, in the area that she's in, Phoenix, Scottsdale. There's a lot of really good schools, a lot of good businesses. They produce some great dancers. So she's going to have her work cut out for her. I think as far as her owning a studio, fabulous. But I just saw something about auditions to be on her competition team. And that reminded me of the show, of the TV show, right?
Fume is a flavored air device designed to help people quit vaping and smoking by breaking the hand-to-mouth pattern. It's simple, natural, and honestly kind of genius. No nicotine, no batteries, no vapor, just a weighted, twisty, fidget-friendly tool. Good for those ADHD baddies like myself because Lord knows I gotta be moving at all times. That gives your hands something to do and reach for when the cravings show up. Fume has already helped over 700,000 people, that's a 7 with 5 zeros for those who are mathematically challenged like yours truly, take steps toward better habits, and now it's your turn. Use our code BLOODLINE to receive a free gift with your purchase of a journey pack. Head to tryfume.com, that's TRYFUM.com, and use code BLOODLINE to claim your free gift today.
And if you need any advice on which flavor to get, the peach one is my favorite, and I be hand to mouth in that thing all day long. I wanted you to walk us through what it was like a day in the life of filming. Like, I know you said it lasted like 12 hours, I think.
Right. Okay. So when I got to the studio, probably around noon, this was like Pyramid Day, Wednesday. So Monday we were dark. Tuesday we did the interviews with the ugly costumes in the background. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then Wednesday, this is the first day of the thing, right? Okay, so I got to the studio probably around noon, and there was some crappy lunch or something there. And then I got into hair and makeup. So the whole time I'm getting into hair and makeup, they're usually filming me. They usually have a camera on me, and the producer's going over things with me, right? Okay. This is what's going to happen. This is who's on top of the pyramid. No, I don't want them on top of the pyramid. Well, it can't be so-and-so, on and on and on. Not a moment to look at your phone, not a moment to do any personal business, unless you want it on camera. Not a moment. Okay. So then now we go into the studio. Someone's going to be late, not saying who. Someone's late all the time. They would say it was me that was late, but it wasn't. Besides, it was my studio. I could be late. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So then we start the pyramid. 4 hours.
I was going to ask you about that because we only seen like 10, 15 minutes of it.
4 hours we stood there in one space. Well, I was standing. The kids, the poor kids. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say poor kids. They're all millionaires. Okay. So the kids standing there. Right. So we were standing there until somebody would fight about something. There had to be a fight. It had to be kicked off with, why is my kid on the bottom? And originally the pyramid, I thought it was supposed to tell how the kids did the week before. Not so much what the judges had as the winning number, but what I thought the kids did the week before. How they did in the group dance, how different kids maybe made a mistake, how somebody that had a solo I didn't think placed as well as they should have, or maybe screw the judges. I thought the kid was great, so I'm still putting him on the top, that type of thing. But as time went on, it became about who was going to do what the next week, who was going to get the solo, and who was going to do this, and who was going to do that. And it shouldn't be one and the same, but however they did is what they're going to do. I don't know. And then by the end, it was just random chaos. So Okay, that happened about 4 hours. And then all we were left with time-wise to teach the kids the routines was however long they were allowed on camera. So if it was Mackenzie and she was still younger, she wasn't allowed on camera that long. So if she had a solo, I had to hurry up. We did the group dance first. We started the group dance. And then the group kids could go into another room and keep working. And I'd pull the kid who had the solo, who was the youngest. So I started their solo. Then
Okay.
the next kid that had a duo or a trio or whatever we had, we'd pull them in. I'd start them. You're doing this type of dance. This is the style. This is the music, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then we'd hopefully get as much done as we could. And then that was it. Then we wrapped. And my real dance studio started. But it was,
Okay, yeah, because you
it
had
always makes it seem like there were these 7 little kids in this huge building and nobody else. In the meantime, there were 27 kids in one other room. There were 12 kids in another room, and I should have been with them. Yes.
obviously one of the biggest, feuds on reality television was you and Kathy. I've heard you say in a couple of episodes that like y'all are good now, I guess, right?
Um, we'll see. We have a new show.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But too bad. I'm saying it. Yeah, we have a new show.
Well, we'll be excited to tune in, and if we can keep
Start
this in, then
We start filming this summer. Where are you guys?
we're
in
in Georgia
Nashville.
or Nashville, yeah.
Wait, one of you said Georgia, one of you said Nashville.
Well, I misunderstood. We're from Georgia. We live in Nashville.
Okay. All right. So we'll be in Orlando and Vegas this summer because all the dance competitions are going on. That's where all the big nationals are. There's nationals everywhere. There's 8,000 dance competitions in the United States. It's
Right.
ridiculous. So, but we'll be kind of piggybacking on some stuff that's happening in Orlando and Vegas. And then
Vegas. Never been to Vegas. Might have to.
you've never been to Vegas.
No, I'd
21?
lose all my money, Abby. I would piss it away.
Are you 21?
Yes, I'm 22.
I go to Vegas. I don't put 1 quarter in a machine. I love the ding, 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 ding. I like the action, but I go to see the shows. I go to dinner. I go to see the beautiful hotels, and you don't have to gamble. And the only thing I do play is blackjack because I feel like I have some sense of math
Uh-huh.
in losing my money. You know what I mean? It's just not like
right.
the machine's just taking it from me. But people hit on those machines. It's crazy.
Well, Riley here is a big cruiser.
I love to go
Oh.
on a cruise, and I was gambling one time in the casino, and I put a quarter in, hit a button, and lost everything in one swoop. So I ended when I started.
Wait, it was your quarter? You lost a quarter?
Well, no, I lost. I think it was like 100, but I was playing it. I don't remember how it exactly went. I knew that I wasn't good at gambling.
The biggest I hit was my dad was a big gambler, racetrack guy. But the biggest I hit, I was in some bar in Vegas, and down in the bar, like on the top of the bar, was machines, right? And so the guy, I gave the guy the money for the drinks, whatever I was buying, and he gave me the change back, and it was a quarter. So I gave him a couple bucks, and I took the quarter and I put it down in the thing. I hit for like 28,000 or something.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
No, maybe that's wrong. Maybe it was 2,800, which I still thought was a lot.
Hell,
It's a lot for a
Everybody
quarter.
at the bar was screaming at me. Why didn't you play the whole thing? Why did you I said, hey, if you wouldn't have given me the quarterback, I wouldn't have played it at all. I wasn't going to put a dollar bill in it. Like I just had the quarter in my hand and I stuck it in. It was no big deal. And it was like a poker, like a full, whatever it's called, full hand, whatever,
Yeah.
and full house. And yeah, so that was it. That's my big gambling.
Let me ask you, on the show or whatever, it only showed the drama and the filming and all that stuff. Were there ever times like whenever y'all stopped filming that y'all would ever hang out, like have a good time,
Not the moms and I, but the kids, definitely. The kids are with me all the time. That's what's so weird about the kids, their memories. we went to the movies and we did things and we traveled. I took them to Paris, to the Eiffel Tower, not to do an event, not to dance, not to go to a convention or competition, just because I wanted to do that with them. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll ask you this. I know that a lot of the girls have started studios of themselves. If they ever reached out to you for advice, would you consider helping them?
Oh, yeah. Like if Kalani wanted advice, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can tell them everything to do wrong, like not to do everything I did wrong. Things I did wrong. Not one of those mothers that owed me money at my studio at that front desk would have been allowed to walk into that interview.
Abby, you would probably never have to work another day in your life if you got all the money you were owed.
Yeah. There was a producer. He stood at my front desk and I had a contract with all the kids. I'm talking the 2.5-year-olds. Every single kid, I had a contract with them that if I got them a job, I got 10% of it. Now, when I say a job, I mean modeling for a costume catalog, right? And the kid's going to get $100 maybe, and I'm going to get 10 of it. That was it. Maybe a local commercial in Pittsburgh, something like that. Because I was trying to teach them that that's how it works. When you move to LA, when you move to New York, you have an agent and they're going to take a cut, and then a publicist is going to take a cut, all this. And we're working on that from the time we're little, right? Where this show happens. And this guy stood at my front desk. He's a big guy, like 6'3", and he took the contracts and just ripped them up for the kids on the show and said, you're going to make so much money. You're never going to need these. You're never going to need their 10%.
Oh, well.
He didn't know I was going to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Speaking of that, how are you doing with your health journey and stuff?
I'm having a hard time this weekend. I have a lot of problems just recently with my like between my waist and my thighs, if you can picture.
Yeah.
It's when you're paraplegic, you don't feel there. So I don't want to bore your listeners with it, but it's more like all your like urinary tract, like that kind of stuff is very difficult, and lots of UTIs, which can be dangerous, and lots of things like that. It's just, if I could get that straightened out, I would be.
You're going to. Don't shatter no more legs, and you're going to be on the right track.
About that. Yeah, I was walking 280 steps.
What are you up to now?
4.
Oh, you're gonna get back in.
I shattered my leg twice.
You need an Abby Lee Miller in your life to get you going.
And you know what? It's funny. My oncologist, a very, very wise man. He is the top of his field. He is amazing. Dr. Lawrence Pirro. You can Google him. He's brilliant, brilliant man. And he pitched me a show. Actually, he thought it would be great, like a kind of a redemption show where I go into physical therapy and the physical therapist walks in, but it's not the physical therapist. It's one of my kids, one of my former students.
That's $1 million idea right there.
I know. I thought it was great. I pitched it. I know. I thought it would be good, even on some like health channel or something,
I mean, and they JoJo in there and say, Abby, have you learned nothing?
Yeah. And she could get me up and make me walk and make me reach over and touch my toes and all those things. Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought it was a very clever idea, and it was something that would be interesting to people and something different. And maybe at the end, they're screaming and yelling and there's more hate. And maybe at the end, we're hugging and crying and it's all good. Or maybe it flips and maybe I'm still the boss. Who knows?
It's a good idea. Let me ask you, whenever you went to prison, you obviously have a sharp tongue sometimes. Did you take that with you to prison, or was it like...
People always think, I don't know why the public in general thinks, oh, she's going to be nice now. Oh, well, she had cancer, so she's going to be nice now. She went to prison, she's going to be nice now. What about those things
doesn't make any sense?
No. So, okay. So I was there ridiculously for 8 months for maybe walking away from a vacation home in 2009 after the crash in 2008. That's why I went. That in a nutshell is 21 indictments. That's the only one that stuck. Maybe walking away from vacation home. And I didn't walk away. I still own the house. I still pay the mortgage.
Say, I've seen where you said you still own the damn thing.
Yes. Okay. So for the first 2 months, I was sweet and I was nice and I made friends and it was all good. Then the next 2 months, when I thought I'd be out already, I was probably sad and just fed up and just exhausted with it all. And then the third 2 months, I was getting a little peeved. Yeah. And I turned back into me. You know, you're laying in your bed and you hear these girls coming from the ladies' room. And I'm like, pick your feet while you like screaming at them. And then one of the guards would come in, or like the director of the unit, she'd march in and she'd say, hey, does anybody see where Susie's at? And I'm like, you don't need the preposition at the end of the question. It's just there's anywhere one see Susie.
So you were correcting grammar. You were correcting grammar the time you got out of there.
I was going insane. Yeah, it was bad.
You're on the up and up now, and you're doing great. Aren't you like doing tour and stuff? You're going around teaching kids how to dance?
I was in Europe for, it's called Europe, UK and Europe for 34 days straight, working crazy. Shout out to Jenny, my tour director. She did an amazing job. I did get a few days off. And then I was home for a week teaching, and then I had to fly back, and I spoke at Oxford University. Yes.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Oxford Union. Can you believe it?
I can believe
it.
I remember my mother something happened. I remember my mother with her rosary beads. You know, this is my phone, but that's not. And at graduation, praying that she would hear my name called, because not because of my grades, but I missed so many days. And in Pennsylvania, if you miss 30 days, you failed. That's it, right? And so first period, I missed more than 30 days. Second period, I was like, so you have to have enough credits for the rest of the time. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. Anyway, I think everybody was just like, get her out. Just
get her out of here. That's definitely what they done with Riley and I. They were like, get their asses out of here. Do whatever you have to do.
Just let them be somebody else's problem.
And I know that you didn't really dance, or you did dance probably when you were younger, but
I didn't, but dance wasn't what it was. Dance then is not what it was now. I mean, did I say that right? Let me edit that out. Dance back then is not what it is now. So children did not dance 4 or 5 days a week. You went to dancing school. Everybody went to dancing school. My mom had a hugely successful studio, and kids went once a week. And the babies took 15 minutes of tap and 15 minutes of gymnastics and 15 minutes of ballet. 45 minutes once a week, and you learned something and you retained it. You came back the next year and you were in an hour class. Then the next year you were in an hour and a half, but it was all in one day. It's not like, there were kids, I guess back then, that were going to ballet school in New York City 3-4 times a week, and were going to be classical ballerinas. But in the world, in the United States, in the suburbs, and still in Europe, they still have these after school programs where the kids do 30 minutes of dance, 30 minutes of acting, and 30 minutes of singing once a week. And it's great. Every child should dance, like that. I feel like it gives you an appreciation of live theater. You learn how to behave backstage, on stage, in the audience. You learn some poise and some grace and your spatial awareness. Like every boy should dance, Anybody that's going to just stop on the sidewalk, bend down and tie their shoe. Dad took me once a week. I did everything: ice skating, roller skating, karate. I took horseback riding lessons. I did everything. Nothing well, obviously. But my friend who also danced with me, she was really good at swimming. and that was kind of her thing. And then by high school, she was going in the morning to the University of Pittsburgh, swimming with their collegiate team, and then coming back to the suburbs, going to school, and then going back again after school and swimming again. That's the only person involved with me as a child that I knew that really did something like that. But people weren't dancing like that. And now today, kids are 7, 8 years old and they go 5 times a week to dance studio. I'm like, I have kids on Broadway right now that didn't dance that much. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you're a good teacher, I guess, just being around it, your whole life and just,
my mom had her studios in Miami, Florida, and she had 7 studios when she left to marry my dad and moved from Miami to Pittsburgh. We'll let that hang there. Okay. And, we'll let that marinate. Okay. And then, but her students that were graduated seniors that were off to college or wherever now have migrated and they're in New York City by the time I'm born and I'm a little kid. So my mom's taking me at 8 years old to Broadway shows, and I'm in the 6th row center house seats watching Liza Minnelli in the act. I'm going backstage to meet Liza. Debbie Reynolds babysat me. I mean, there's so many stories that I can tell because my mom's students were now in these Broadway shows, Yeah. And I was this little kid who was going to see everything. And my mother was always into continuing her education. So way before there was competition, there were dance conventions where you went and you learned the latest techniques and the newest jazz shoes and then, trade shows and lots of classes and things. So I was always continuing in my education, and I took from some of the pioneers of jazz dance, Matt Maddox and Frank Hatchett and Betsy Hogg, like all these amazing teachers.
I'm going to be in New York at the end of the year for business, and I've never been to a Broadway show, so I think I'm going to try to fit that into my schedule.
You better go.
I'm going to try.
You better go. Go see.
Abby,
I don't know what's still going to be there. My student, my most successful student, his name is Mark Myers, and he is the resident director and choreographer of Death Becomes Her right now. They just got their closing notice, but they're probably there through the summer. And then, so it's a great show, the movie or see the movie before you go. And then I have another student who was in Hamilton. He left, he's doing Chicago right now because he has a role. He's Fred in Chicago. And he's also workshopping Sergio Trujillo's new Damn Yankees production that is headed to. So
we're going to have to pick one go.
Interviewed for the show, the TV show.
He must have not had a crazy enough mama.
He didn't.
Yeah. Which mother do you think they struck gold with the most?
Well, I would have liked them to have struck gold with Melissa so that I could recoup some of the money she took from me.
Jill, I feel like was pretty good.
I brought Jill in.
Okay. So
I don't know if Jill will ever give me credit for that, but Jill came into the studio. Jill's older daughter, Riley, beautiful girl, took dancing from me. She was in my senior company while the show was going on. Okay. So Jill came walking in and I grabbed her by the arm and I took her into my retail store, which they used as the interview room at the very beginning. Nobody could buy anything. Nobody could shop because they were filming.
Shocker.
Yeah. So I put Jill in the chair and I said, interview her, put her on camera. I think she's great. I think she would add some class to the moms.
Lord knows they needed it.
What?
He said, Lord knows they needed some class.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have one last question.
Said, like putting silk stockings on a mule.
Well, Abby, thank you so much for taking this interview. We love you. You're still producing stars, it looks like, so keep it up.
Thank you. I'm trying. I have a kid up for the new Musketeers. Oh my God. It's been like 5 auditions back and forth. Crazy. So
you're busy.
See. We hope. Yeah.
Busy but successful.
Busy but successful. You too, young men, get to New York, see a Broadway show.
We'll keep you updated.
We will do that.
All right, please. Thank you for having me on. And hey, if I'm back in Nashville, you're taking me to dinner.
Hey,
Hey, we'd love
I'd
to
be
take you
happy
dinner.
to.
Take care.
See
Take
ya.
care, Abby. Thanks.